These are Sandow's spring grip dumbbells, the original gentleman's version with the chrome plating, leather handles. They were originally made, these ones were from probably early 1900s. 7 springs. These are the slightly cheaper men's version, which have got 5 springs and are just enamelled, which were produced at around the same time. And these continued to be in production until around 1925, when the patent expired and he re-patented this version, which are essentially the same, but they're ergonomically shaped for your grip. All of them weigh 3 to 3.5 pounds per set. He also produced, these are the ladies version, basically exactly the same as the more expensive gentleman's set, but only 2 pounds in weight, but very similar. So they all work in the same way. Basically, you close the dumbbell as you go through each of the exercises, squeezing it a little bit more tightly at the end. They're not actually difficult to close at all. A lot of the people who've written about these have stated that they were principally grip training devices, like the Captains of Crush grips or something like that, and that they would also have ostensibly worked as a dumbbell, but only weighing 3 pounds would have been of little use. When you actually pick them up though, it's very obvious that that's not true. The grip aspect of it is nowhere near strong enough to challenge even a reasonably sort of strong person. That's not the purpose of them at all. Even the 7 spring ones, you were advised when using them to begin with the springs removed, like this, and only the original 2 springs to start, which is extremely easy. You would then add springs as your strength and ability to contract the muscle increased, and then later on you could buy thicker springs. You can see in these ones that the springs that the person's had in them are the thicker variety. So these are a little bit harder to squeeze, but still, you know, not that challenging. So what they actually were quite a clever tool for increasing or enhancing neuromuscular facilitation, the ability to target and consciously contract a muscle during its action. That plus the small weight and leverage with the repetitions done at a particular cadence was a really smart way to induce significant muscular fatigue and a sort of momentary muscular failure. And over time, your ability to consciously engage and contract the muscles got better, and you become stronger and use progressively stronger springs. So a lot of people who talk about these assert that they were principally a sort of marketing gimmick that Sandow released, knowing full well that they wouldn't actually deliver on their promise of greater muscular development because they were too light, and he just kind of sold them to make money. However, what we need to realise is these ones were first on the market in the late 1890s, early 1900s, and they continued to be sold in vast numbers in Europe, England, America, India, Australia, making Sandow a lot of money, obviously, and it continued to be sold until 1925, uninterrupted, when he changed the patent to these ones. He died in 1925. Later, the patent expired, and other companies jumped on a bandwagon and started to sell them. in England, these were produced by Terry's. These are from the 1960s, and as you can see, they're identical. A lot stiffer than these ones because obviously they're 50 years newer, but still with two springs in, reasonably easy to close. You get a good contraction on the muscle. You can target various specific muscles in specific exercises. Too much tension means that too much of the result is focused on the forearm muscles. That's why you're advised to start with fewer than the maximum number of springs. These were sold right up until the 1970s, and in America Spalding produced them to the exact same specifications, and again they were available until the 1970s. So we've got a tool that was in constant production, that was expensive to produce and quite expensive to buy, and that sold steadily for getting on for 70 years. Therefore, it's odd to assert that they never worked and couldn't have ever worked. It seems clear to me that the reason they fell from favour is the particular type of training that they were designed for was lost, which is what I argue in the book, which we will provide a link for underneath the video. And actually, as a training methodology, this method, which I'm calling weight-assisted total contraction, conscious contraction of a muscle rhythmically to a particular cadence over around a minute at a time, with consciously directed and enhanced muscle involvement, can induce very effectively significant muscle fatigue, momentary muscular failure, raise muscle protein synthesis in the muscle, and create the biochemical situation necessary for muscular development, both of some level of strength and a reasonable level of hypertrophy. So this was known about by Attila, who taught Sandow, by Lionel Strongfort, Sandow himself, and others, and was a very popular method of training for a long time. It's only quite recently, with studies like the McMaster's University study and more recently follow-up studies, that have shown that training with light loads, focusing on reaching failure, can or pretty much match heavy weight training in terms of sheer muscular development, if not strength, although there is some significant strength training result as well. Okay, so spring grip dumbbells. If they had made them rather in 5 pounds with springs, I think that they would be ideal. I think the 3 pound weight is usable, but for me personally, to get the, and as I explain this in the book, to get the proper training effect, a set of normal 5 pound dumbbells with perhaps some neoprene or something to help you to squeeze them, you don't really need this. This was always a sort of remedial device that Sandow was kind of forced to develop at the time of his second book. When he wrote his first book, he just recommended using normal dumbbells. People found that difficult, and so he created these and made himself a lot of money. But although they're useful and although it's interesting, if you have a reasonable degree of physical intelligence and you understand the method of training, particularly the cadence, you can, as argued in the book, The Lost Secret to a Great Body, you can genuinely develop the type of body Sandow advertised with nothing more than one set of light dumbbells and 20 to 30 minutes simple exercise every day.